the line 11. I translate the sentence first, and then we will see further. Ve'od ba'matzav shel gadlut. When I translate it, I translate only a fragment from the point to the comma, and from the comma to the comma, in such a way. Ve'od ba'matzav shel gadlut, and more of it, and more, how do you call it, and above it, or more, comes, there is a state of gadlut, the state of greatness, a state of grown up state. She'az, that then, 12, mit alot, tet sfirot, hatachtonot shela, here 9 lower sfirot, ascending, min olam abriya, from the world Briya, 13, El Olam Atzilut, to the Olam Atzilut, to the world Atzilut, Vehi Nivnet Imahen, and she, the Shoshana, Nivnet Imahen, is build up with them. Lepartsuf 14 Shalem, to a full partsuf, Ba'eser Sfirot, with 10 Sfirot. So this means that a partsuf that has 10 Sfirot is, the state is a great state, a state of gadlut. In such a way the spiritual worlds now build up from Atzilut and lower. That only the Katnut is standard available. This is the minimum of light and the minimum of kilim that are given to the creation. That, as this is like we said that the light, the sun rises up for everyone. Yeah, I don't know whether in English they say it. That you don't need to work for this. The sun rises up for everyone. Everyone gets the shining of the sun. This is the minimum what here also on earth we can receive spiritually. The state of Katnut. Also, this is not completely correct, because in our world, the material world, we only use a fraction of this condition, but we can receive normally this state of Katnut. But a Gatlut, the great state, is only up to the matter of our building up ourselves and asking, it must be a sincere worship for light. And this is a spiritual condition of that must come from beneath, from a human being. But just we are speaking, he speaks only here about two conditions when they are used. He doesn't speak about this, just about this nukwa, how she can be built up. She has two conditions. She can be in the small conditions, in the condition of katnut, or in gadlut. And the questions why will just keep them for yourself. Step by step, they will be answered within yourself. I give only small things just to help you to go through this material. But everything must be the main things must grow within yourself. Not the words just build up you, but work on yourself. And the work on yourself, you must do it yourself. It's hard. It seems hard what I say. No one can help you. Only you yourself can help yourself. It's strange. It looks very cruel. But it's not the cruelty of me or someone else, or Zohar. A person is so created to come to the elevated state where he will be only tete-a-tete, eyes to eyes with the Ein Sof. And then he can manage it also, then he can manage it with the rest of the world. Then he will be able to give to another one, to care about another one, and not before. And before it's just playing like children. The line 14 after the point. So what he said about the gadlut is that there is such a state where all or some of them step by step, not in one time probably, but that the 9 sfirot, 9 lower sfirot of the Shoshana can rise up to here, ascend to them, to here, to the Kli Keter, and unite them with the Keter. And then she would get all the 10 sfirot, and accordingly she would immediately receive all the lights that correspond to these, to all the 10 spherots. But look how it's going. It's not that the light comes through this parsa, through this dividing point, down in the lower part of a partsuf. But from the world Atzilut and on, is a great tikkun made, that only by way of ascending from the lower part to the higher part is it possible to attract, to draw the light, kilim, everything, into the lower part. Because in the spirituality, there is no place for a fault. Because mistakes, yes. Because once there was a bing bang, one bing bang, once was this shattering of kilim, because the light came from the upper part of the partsuf, the light, a great light of the chokhmah, came through the parsa, and the lower spherots in this world, in that world, Nikudim, were not prepared to receive it, and that's why they were blown up. That's why now in the Atzilut there are some provisions made in order to avoid it. And these provisions are tikkunim, tikkun, and the plural is tikkunim. So now what he told us is that there is a condition, a state where when this Shoshana gets back here, fallen, as it were, here fallen Sphirot, the lower Sphirot, to here. And then she will become, at these moments when she will be great, she will become a Knesset Yisrael, she will become a gathering of Israel. And this is the state of Gadlut. And it is always like this now also with us. We are the product of the world Atzilut. So with us is the same. It's impossible to build up our inner, to receive constructive in a constructive way, to receive light, to receive corrections, and to go towards our fulfillment by just drawing the light from upper half of our inner body into the lower part. But instead we must cry out, as it were, bring the lower, from the lower parts, the sparks of life, of light above. We must do this work. This itaruta, this awakening must come from beneath, from beneath. And that's why if someone learns the laws of the universe, he understands, he sees how that there is no way to correct the creation, or like the mankind, the social state of all the mankind, or a part of it, by laws from above, by the governmental decisions like this, because it must come from beneath. In accordance with what we are learning here about the Atzilut. And what we see now, that the Shoshana had only one Sphira, Keter, in this state of Katnut, in this state of small state of here. This is, we will see that above is the light, so Keter is also like white, and we will see that this is one of the reasons that the Shoshana is called water lily, because the lily is normally is white, but and that's why because she is corrected. She has above the parsa. It's like on the surface on the surface of the water. That is, she is beautiful. She is white. She has light over there. She is corrected, but under the water, it means in this case is this when here 9 lower spheroids are fallen into the Bria out of the Atzilut, then they are like Shoshana under the thorns. Yeah, and then she resembles the rose. That's why some see this Shoshana as a rose, some see it as a lily, but in the spirituality we must give, the Kabbalists give the name in accordance with the qualities of things where they are speaking about. So we see that when we are speaking about the Keter, only one Sphira of the Shoshana, when she is above in the Atzilut, then we are speaking about her as a Shoshana, as a lily. But when we are concentrated on her lower 9 Sphirot, then we are speaking when they are in Bria, then we are speaking about the rose. And it is not controversial. The line 14. ואז עולה עם זעיר אנפין, בעלה, 15, לקומה שווה עם אבא ואמא דאצילות, ומלבישים 16 אותם. Point. Now he speaks further about this great state of the Shoshana. Whereas, and then, Ola im Zeir Anpin, she ascends with Zeir Anpin, Bala, her husband, 15, Lekoma Shava, to the same level, im Abba v'ima de'atzilut, of the Abba v'ima, the father and the mother, of the Atzilut, of the world Atzilut. Umalbishim 16 otam, and they clothe them. Here is much information. Rising up, clothing the upper units, the line 14. How it's going, just the process, what he says to us. That in the state when she is able to receive here lower sphirot, then she can rise up to the Abba V'ima. To the Abba V'ima means the father and the mother. This is Binah, the upper Binah. She can rise up to them. How is it possible? How can we rise up, we earthly people? How can we rise up? How can we ascend to a higher spiritual level? We saw that and I said also to you in the beginning of the lesson, that the spiritual worlds are built up from the Atzilut and on, and further, they are built up as in a condition of Katnut. And in the condition of Katnut, as you heard, that every spiritual body, a sphera, or partsuf, or world, is built up in the way that only the upper half is standing, existing in the spiritual, on the spiritual level, but the lower part is descended into the lower spiritual level. And this is a great provision that was made here in the Atzilut. There were also some of it also was already in the world of Nekudim, But now in the Atzilut, it is the structure that we can find in every Sphera and in every Partsuf and every world. That every level, spiritual level, is divided in two. In the upper part, there is only Keter and Chochmah, and the Binah, Zeir Anpin, and Malchut. These three lower parts are, as it were, fallen into the lower adjusted part. Is it good? Adjusted part of the lower part, no, of the lower level, spiritual level. I'll give an example. The Binah, the level of Binah. In Atzilut, in a normal stage, state of Katnut, she has only Keter Chochmah of itself, and the Binah, Zeir Anpin, and Malchut of the Binah are descended, as it were, in the upper place of the lower level, and the lower level of the Binah is Zeir Anpin. So the Binah, Zeir Anpin, and Malchut of the Binah are descended into the Keter and Chochmah of the Zeir Anpin. So the lower part, the lower half of a Partsuf, of the higher Partsuf, is placed into the upper place, into the upper part, into the upper half of the lower level, spiritual level. And this is a great provision that enables the lower part to rise up to higher levels. That when a lower part, or a lower, let's say a lower spiritual object, or a lower partsuf, let's say, or creature, betters its life, chooses for upper part of it, of its structure, rises up within its own system, the lower parts that are in the lower place of this unit, to the higher places of its own structure. And this is possible. Also, we can do it within our system. Within my own inner, I may do it. I am split it in two. So in my upper place, upper half of my structure, I can more or less handle it. But in my lower part, no. And we see all the world is struggles, all the world is stumbles on it, including the presidents, including the spiritual leaders of nations. They can't stand it. They can't work with the lower part in them. But within myself, I can do it. I can, if I do my work, if I better my life, if I study the spirituality, then I can bring some sparks from the lower part, get it out of them, and bring them up in my upper place. And in my upper place, in my upper half of my 10 sfirot, and this is a moment, this is every time we have different conditions in my 10 sfirot, in my state, in which I am placed at the moment. Every moment I have my own 10 sfirot. Then if I am prepared for this, then I take some of these sparks from beneath, and I bring it above in myself, in my Keter and Chochmah, and then at these moments, within me, within my upper half, then I will find the lower part of the higher spiritual state. Bina, Zeir and Pin and Malchut, of the upper spiritual state. And everything is within me. But then I grasp it, the lower part of the higher, the next adjacent spiritual level, and then happens something like a wonder. Then the lower part of the higher spiritual state returns back to her own level, spiritual level, because to return to your own level is not something, is natural, it's normal, because of the law of the correspondence conformity with the qualities of two parts. Then the lower part ascends back, returns back to her upper half, and takes also with itself, takes also me, my Keter and Chochmah, my upper half, with itself above. And nothing disappears in the spirituality, so I stay within myself, in my place, in Keter Chochmah, but then something and an extra state is added to me, that I ascended together with the lower part of the upper level to a higher level above myself, spiritually. In such a way, the ascending and descending is possible in the spirituality. That's the ladder of Yaakov. That's what Yaakov saw when he was on the way. And he saw the ladder and the angels, Malachim, descending and ascending on this ladder. And the Creator was above. And this is really like this. So step by step, by studying the Zohar, you will discover in yourself the levels. This is the level, this is the ladder, this is the Etz Chaim, this is the tree of life. That before was everything, something like not was, your inner was before undifferentiated, and now step by step you bring differentiation in your inner by studying the Zohar. And it comes just slowly or slowly or how do you call it, or fast. It doesn't matter. It depends on, of course, on your intensity, on your loneliness, for longings, on your longings for improvements, longings for the real life, and not the life in futility. So this principle is also what he also speaks here in this ascending, what we also meet here in the ascending of the Shoshana together, what he says, with her husband. The husband is, who is the husband? The husband is the upper level, spiritual level, and the upper spiritual level above the Nukva, above the Shoshana, is Zeir Anpin. So how can she rise up with him? Because she prefers, in a great state, she rises up within herself to her Ketren Chochmah, to her upper position within herself. And then in such a way she unites, as it were, herself with the lower part of the Zeir Anpin, of the higher spiritual level within her, that was immersed in her, due to the katnut, due to the natural, normal state of katnut, of the small state. And now the lower part of the higher spiritual level, in this case is it Zeir Anpin, takes her together with himself and rises up to himself, to his upper part, and together they rise up to a higher position, because when in this case two, always these two parts, the lower part of a higher state, of a higher spiritual level, and the higher part of the lower spiritual level, together always two rise up. And then when they rise up on one level, then naturally all the ladder goes up. And what was before, on the place where they ascended, the powers, the units, spiritual units that was over there, in this case, Zeir Anpin, the upper place of Zeir Anpin, and the lower part of the Binah, they are rising one stage lower or higher again. And all this rises, all the structure rises in one place higher. And by that, they are coming to the Abouima. Abouima, this is the Binah. And in the Binah, when Zeir Anpin and Malchut, or as we call it, Nukva, when she is not grown up, when she has not 10 Sfirot, that her name is Nukva, a feminine part. When they both rise up, Zeir Anpin and Nukva, he is masculine and she is feminine. When they both rise up above the Atzilut, above the and they rise to the Binah, and we will see that the Binah is also there was a provision made that the Binah is also divided in two, in the higher Binah and the lower Binah. We will study it, we will come to this. Then, within two rises, two ascendings, they rise up to the higher Binah, and then they receive everything. How can they receive? How can they clothe, what he says, clothe the higher level? Clothe another level means that to cover it, as it were, within the lower part, let's say, let's give an example here. Zeir Anpin now comes above, together with the Nukva, and they close the Abouima. He is masculine, so in conformity with his quality, he clothes the Abba, the masculine of the Binah, and she, the Nukva, she clothes the Ima, the mother. And here is something special of these clothings, because the Abba and Ima, they are very high. They have they are always in the state where they look at each other. I mean, they are always in unity. We call it in zivug, lo pasik. In zivug is like copulation, but we don't use these words because of all the associations. Then we will just feel our material life, and we must learn the spirituality. And so they are always in unity, in harmony, Abba and Ima. Now, Zeir Anpin and Nukwa, sometimes well and sometimes not. Sometimes they are in unity and sometimes not. So in this way, when they close the Abba Ima, within Zeir Anpin shines the light of Abba, and within here shines the light of Ima, and in such a way they make a unity, a zivug, not in their own position down where they are coming from, but in this higher position where they are now, and there they make a zivug. And by that they are coming to the perfect state, the perfectness in accordance with these powers that they experience now, what they receive now from this rising up, from this ascending to the Abba Ima. And so we will see that naturally only a human being, only we, during all the 6,000 years of the creation, 6,000 stages of it, every soul, but also in the history of all the souls that were, that are, and that will be, up till the coming of the Mashiach, that we make these corrections. The operational system, this is of the universe, this is the Zeir Anpin and Nukwa. This is the world. This is the world that was created. And the prolonging of this, materialization of this, is our world, our lower world, the lowest world that exists in all the universe. So in such a way, we, by bettering of our lives, by studying of the spirituality, by living the spirituality, according to the laws of the universe, praying with the right intentions, we bring up the fallen sparks of the light, like it was in the shattering of Kilim. But then, after the shattering of Kilim was the shattering of the Kilim of the worlds. And then afterwards, I just a little bit want to tell you, afterwards was in Atzilut, in the world Atzilut, was created Adam and Chava, Eve, yeah? And also they, by their deeds, they brought to their deed, their sin brought to the shattering of their kilim, of the human race. How? We will study it in the Zohar. Because what in our world they say about this sin, about Adam and Eve, is just childish. It's just nothing. But we will study this. So we bring up this fallen sparks of the kedusha, of the holiness, that was broken by sins, and the sins made more sins, more severe sins, and we bring it to the Nukva, because the Nukva is the gathering of Israel. The Nukva is the gathering of all the souls of Israel. I mean, for all the souls that are striving for the unity with the high worlds. And then the Nukva, she ascends again, she ascends to the Zeranpin, and together they are ascending to the Aboima. Why do they do this? Like Mama. Because of what we studied in the 4 stages of the transmission of the forming of the Kilim. You remember that Binah did, from the Binah came here children, Zeranpin and Nukva. And from their zivug, from the zivug of between the Zeranpin and Nukva, whilst they stood in the place of Abba V'Ima, when they closed the Abba V'Ima, as what we just spoke about, from that point where Adam and Chava created. And still it comes to this, all these 6,000 years, because we have still different, we must bring states different sparks from ourselves, cleanse ourselves to bring it above, and in such a way we correct ourselves, and together with our inner correction, we correct, bring tikkun to the world. Tikkun olam. We will finish this part without interruption. And now I will repeat the translation of the line 14. Ve'az Ola im Zeranpin Bala, and then she, the Shoshana, ascended with Zeranpin, Bala, her husband. 15. Lekoma Shava, to an, how do you call it? To the same level with the Abba V'Ima of the Atzilut. Umalbishim 16 Otam, and they clothe them, Abba V'Ima. Point. Ve'az Nikra Zeranpin Bashem Israel. Look at that. Ve'az, and then Nikra Zeranpin. Zeranpin is called in this state Bashem, in the name of Israel. You see it? It has nothing to do. Now we don't speak about this low world, where is also conformity. A nation were created that should live in conformity with this Zeranpin and Nukva. This is all the goal of this special nation. But of course, all other nations, when they will, how do you call it, cleave, when they will adjust themselves to this chosen people, then in a good way, then they will also rise up and get all the goods in the same way as Israel gets. And again, once more, whereas 16, and then Zeir Anpin is called Yisrael, Shehu 17 Otiyot Li Rosh V'Hanukva Nikra Bashem Knesset 18 Yisrael Al Shem Shekoneset Betocha Kol Haorot 19 Shel Yisrael Ba'ala Shehi Mushpa'at Otam El 20 Hatachtonim. And very try to make an utmost concentration within yourself in order to hear what is here written, what he says, because the Kabbalists use the words of this world in order to whilst they are speaking about the higher worlds. Look, the Zeir Anpin, then in this great state, Zeir Anpin is called Yisrael. 16, after the last point, Shehu 17 Otiyot Li Rosh. Look at this. What he says. That Yisrael, look at the word Israel. You see, without Hebrew, no way to understand something in a spirituality. Look, what does it mean, Yisrael? Shehu 17 Otiyot Li Rosh. If you look at the word Yisrael, the last word before the last point in the line 16. Look at that. And if you just combine the first letter Yud with the last letter Lamed, and you reverse them, then you will get the word Li, the second word in the line 17. Li. It means me, for me, or me. And if you take the rest of the letters, you will make it up as Rosh, Resh, Aleph, Shin. And this means head, a head. So, if you put these two words, if you extract these two words from a word Israel, then you will get this combination Li Rosh. They are for me as a head. The Israel is a head for me. For me, they are a head. And we will go further. You will feel it step by step. What does it mean? As if the Creator says, they are for me as a Rosh, as a head. We will see what does it mean. Because of course the Israel, when the prayers come from beneath, they make, as it were, the crowns to the upper sphirot, but we will learn it. Ve'hanukva nikra b'shem Knesset Israel, and the nukva, then the nukva, in this great state, nikra is called is called b'shem Knesset Israel. She is called Knesset Yisrael. Look, the gathering of Israel. 18. Al Shem shekoneset betocha, because she brings within herself kol ha'orot, all the lights. 19. Shel Yisrael, of Yisrael, of Ziranpin. Bala, her husband, shehi mushpa'at otam el atachtonim, that the lights that she, Knesset Israel, the Malchut, mushpa'at, gives further, bestows them to the lower, who? To the lower spiritual, to the lower creatures. That means, who is lower than Malchut, Nukva, or Knesset Israel, you see? Who? All the creatures that are in the Bria, Yetzirah, Asiyah, all the souls of men, of all the creatures of the 4 natures that are exist.